The Princess of Wales steps out at Wimbledon with Princess Charlotte as Prince William and Prince George attend the soccer game. Plus, Prince Harry accepts the Pat Tillman Award after backlash and will speak out on the phone hacking scandal. And PR expert David Johnson weighs in on Harry and Meghan's latest career moves.
One thing that I've learned in crisis management is once the crisis occurs, if you don't deal with it right away, you never recover to your previous stature. We've seen it so many times.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Everyone, and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina, that's Christine, and some big sporting events that the Royals stepped out for, and we couldn't be more excited to see the Princess of Wales looking fabulous.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a very sporty week, wasn't it? With lots of fun stories this week. I feel it. I'm going to say it. It feels like we're getting back into things this week. And then next week we will have nothing to talk about. But let's not be too pessimistic.
Totally. Before we get into the sporting news, we do have to talk about King Charles and Queen Camilla because they were forced to cut an engagement short during their day in Jersey amid a security scare. So the royal couple's plans were briefly interrupted when an issue was raised by a team member. An investigation deemed it to be a false alarm, and King Charles and Queen Camilla's schedule resumed after a short time. Royal reporter Matt Wilkinson shared a video on X showing Queen Camilla being ushered away shortly after being handed a cup of ice cream from a Jersey dairy vendor. Now, Her Majesty did suffer a minor sprain during the course of the engagements in Jersey. So for her comfort, she is wearing an ankle support for the engagements that are going on as we speak. So it's definitely a scary moment, something that you never want to see happen, but luckily it was just a false alarm.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting to hear about these things because we almost always hear about them after the fact because during these engagements, there's such a well-oiled machine. Security knows exactly what to do. So they're sort of whisked away. The issue is assessed, and if it's not safe, obviously they don't return. And since it was, they just carried on with things, but very much that keep calm, carry on. Because if you didn't know, it might have looked a little bit strange, but there was no panic, there's no alarm, no one's rushing off, and it just goes to show how well prepared their security is, and how these things might actually pop up more than we know about, but they're dealt with in such a calm, quiet manner.
Right. No, definitely. Yeah. I'm sure a lot goes unheard of, I would imagine. All right. Well, like we said before, Princess Kate did step out at Wimbledon with her daughter, Princess Charlotte, in such a fabulous mother-daughter affair. So she and her 9-year-old daughter were all smiles as they stepped out to attend the tennis tournament. She rocked a purple dress with a beige handbag, while Charlotte donned a navy dress and matching hair bow. Kate and Charlotte sat inside the coveted royal box at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. They wrote on Instagram, great to be back at Wimbledon. There's nothing quite like the championships. Her appearance at Wimbledon marked one of her first in the public eye since announcing her cancer diagnosis back in March. Her sister Pippa Middleton joined the duo as they sat in that royal box. But it was so good to see. Purple is definitely her color. I love to see her interacting with some of the tennis players and bringing Charlotte there as well. It was definitely a wonderful girls' day out.
Yeah, I love this girls' day out. I'm so glad that she brought Charlotte. And I also love that Pippa was able to be there as a bit of support as well, because you could see it was hard to watch the video of her entering the royal box without us getting emotional. So I think it must have been emotional for her standing and listening to a standing ovation in her honor. So I think having her sister there must have been a really, really big support, and it must have been really fun to share this with Charlotte. This was one of the events that we expected her to undertake this summer after her statement a few weeks ago, where she sort of laid the groundwork for some of her favorite summer outings and making sure that she felt well enough, and that we knew that this was going to be, as I think any appearance with the Princess of Wales is going to be a very last minute decision. But she did look incredible in purple, like you said. So she must have had that dress ready to go, even though it is sort of a last minute decision. That dress was probably still hanging, altered and steamed for her. But she just absolutely popped, because when you watched on the TV, even if it was focused on the players, you could still see that little flash of purple in the stands, and you knew it was her, which is such a powerful fashion tactic.
It really is. And you make such a good point. I think everybody watching that video of her walking down those steps and that standing ovation, and I'm sure she just felt the outpouring of love and support from everybody. It had to be, I was sure, probably overwhelming for her as well, and Princess Charlotte, but it just shows what an impact she has on so many people. And hopefully people don't be like, okay, well, we're going to see her a lot more. I think, like you said, every decision is kind of going to be like a last minute decision if she's feeling up to it. But she looks good. So happy to see her healthy and out and about. So definitely a wonderful moment. And Prince George and Prince William also had their own outing at the European Championship Finals on July 14th when attending the soccer game together. So the father-son duo headed down to Berlin to watch the tournament between England and Spain. The Prince of Wales and Prince George stopped by a few games this season, as they are both avid lovers of soccer. While the Prince of Wales and George were attending the game, they also posted this photo of Charlotte and Louis watching them lose 2-1, but they shared this photo with the caption, "Your teamwork, grit, and determination were an inspiration to all of us, young and old. Congratulations to Spain." And they had these little soccer jerseys on, which were just so cute. And I love seeing like these little insights into their life. You see Prince William and Prince George hugging while they were in the stands. And it just seems like we're seeing a lot more, I feel like, a normal side of them as they kind of enjoy the soccer together. It's something that they've really bonded over.
Definitely. I think when George going along, it's such a father-son bonding moment. It's really normalizes them in their relationship. And the pictures of them, like their real-time reactions to things, like you can tell that they're watching at home, like shouting at the TV.
Right.
And I think it's just, it makes them so relatable, but really strengthens that relationship between both Prince William and Prince George and the people, but also with William's role as president of the Football Association. So all of these things kind of combine together, making it such a good idea to bring George along. On the one hand, I had hoped he would bring Louis, but it didn't start until really late in the evening. So Louis was probably better off watching at home, where he could fall asleep on the sofa. And again, the photo of Charlotte and Louis watching, showing that this really is a family affair. Everyone was rooting for England. It didn't come home this time. English football fans are so interesting, because they absolutely never believe that England is going to win until they get to the final, and then they cannot believe that they've lost. But it was a great game, and as they said, incredible determination, really inspiring to watch the players play. And I just love that William and Kate are just cheering them on in lots of different ways.
Definitely. I love it so much. Well, Prince William and Kate are thrilled to see his Aunt Princess Anne back at work after her recent hospitalization. They said, "Super Trooper, so great to see you back so soon." This was a personal note that they shared on their Instagram story. They both signed the message with their respective first initials and an X. So definitely great to see her back out and about. They also reposted a picture of Princess Anne from her engagement at the Riding for the Disabled Association National Championship. So she's well enough to be back and getting back to royal duty. So we love to see it.
Yeah, she looked really happy to be, Princess Anne looked really happy to be back to it. The bruising on her face was really incredible. It sort of lets us know that this was quite a serious injury, which we assumed, because there was nothing else was going to hold her back from getting back to work except a really serious accident. So I'm so glad she's feeling better and feeling well and back to the work that she loves. And I think we all love seeing that family relationship sort of broadcast on social media, where Will and Kate are cheering her on again, and just I bet they have funny banter at family events where Princess Anne is very no nonsense and William's winding her up.
Definitely. All right, let's spill some royalty, and Prince Harry will discuss his recent phone hacking lawsuit against the Mirror Group newspapers in an upcoming ITV documentary called Tabloids on Trial, which will break down the scandal. So in a press release, they said, featuring Prince Harry's first major interview since the conclusion of his court case with Mirror Group newspapers, this documentary hears about his mission to continue his fight to expose the illegal tactics of Britain's tabloid press and explores what those in charge at Fleet Street really knew as this scandal unfolded. He will chat with ITV presenters regarding his perspective. Tabloids on Trial will also feature testimonies from Hugh Grant, Charlotte Church, among others that were catapulted into the public eye For Harry, it will be the first time that he has addressed the legal battle in depth. I feel like this is the first time we're going to hear Harry talk in depth about kind of like anything in a really big sit down interview. He's done things here and there, you know, when they were in Canada for the Invictus Games, but I feel like this would be a great length interview.
Yeah, I think that it'll be interesting to see how much he really reveals, because this is part of a larger cast, a larger project. There's lots of people involved in this because so many people were affected by this enormous phone hacking scandal. It will be really interesting to get Harry's point of view, although we know he absolutely hates the tabloid press. He absolutely hates that this happened to him. So I don't think he's obviously not going to have anything really positive to say. I think it'll be, you know, really getting his side of the story out and really sort of, as he has been the last few years, kind of clearing his own name, getting his side of the story out there, and I think it's cathartic to him in that sort of way. I just hope that, like many of the things Harry's done lately, it doesn't backfire.
Yes, no, hopefully it doesn't backfire. But as we know, Prince Harry has been in the news for the past couple of weeks because of his involvement in the ESPYs. But before he even took the stage to receive the Pat Tillman Award, he received a shocking overhead welcome at the award ceremony. A banner reading "Prince Harry, Investigate Mom's Death" flew above the Dolby Theater in Hollywood on July 11th, where he was on hand to accept the Pat Tillman Award for service. The banner circled the venue for the entirety of the hours-long red carpet, which Harry and wife Meghan Markle did not walk. He did accept the Pat Tillman Award after backlash started. And in his speech, he did thank the Tillman family right away. So he kind of addressed the elephant in the room. But I mean, that banner flying above and, you know, the backlash that he's receiving, I'm sure it's a lot for anybody to take on.
I think it must be so frustrating for them, and for Harry especially, because I think his work with the Invictus Games and with the military and veterans is so important to him, and he really, really tries to honor them and do justice to these projects. But all of this other noise keeps getting in the way, and that's really unfortunate, and I think it must be really upsetting to him because he does take it so seriously. He's so dedicated to it, and yet these things just keep happening where it's like he can't escape the noise that sort of reverberates off him no matter where he goes.
No, you're so right. And to kind of break this down even further, we caught up with PR expert, crisis expert David Johnson to get his take on how Harry handled the ESPY situation and where they go from there in the opinion of the public. Take a look. As you know, Prince Harry has been in the news quite a bit over, he's always in the news quite a bit, but it feels like he's definitely been making headlines surrounding the ESPY Awards and the backlash that he received from the Pat Tillman Award. A lot of people were saying that he should reject the award, not take it, but he did accept it. He did thank the family. What was your reaction and how they handled that?
I will say this. He's really gotten a lot of criticism, especially even from me at times. Yeah. But on this one, I think it was unfounded, because he was not being honored as Prince Harry. It had nothing to do with him or Meghan. It had to do with the Invictus Games. He is the founder. I mean, hats off to him for everything he has done with that. And in fairness to him, he made very clear in his acceptance speech that's why he was there, that it had nothing to do with him individually. And I thought he was very graceful in addressing both Pat Tillman's widow and his mother.
I think the last time we spoke, you said that, Harry and Meghan, they need to lay low. We kind of need to forget about them for a while. Do you feel within those past couple months they have done just that? And do you think that the public is warming up to them a little bit more again?
I think he's done a better job than she has. She really can't, miss an opportunity to be in that spotlight. And the media, of course, loves her. It's that love-hate relationship they have. But as far as recovering their popularity, no, they haven't. And a lot of it is everything that's going on with the royal family, because last time we had spoken, we didn't know what was going on with Kate Middleton. Now we do, with the cancer, also with his father as well. And people just do not feel that he's been very graceful about it. Don't forget Ovid Scobie's tweet, which he later took down when Kate Middleton announced her cancer. People still do not like them. They don't like the change in their name from Mountbatten to Sussex. They just don't like the whole thing. And one thing that I've learned in crisis management is once the crisis occurs, if you don't deal with it right away, you never recover to your previous stature. We've seen it so many times.
All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Us. What a fun week seeing Kate and William both out and about. It seems like you said things feel vibrant.
Yes, things feel vibrant. I feel like we're getting to our sort of normal summer routine. Wimbledon was so nice to see Kate. Lots of royal spotting lately. So hopefully they keep it up. But I know August is right around the corner, and that's sort of our quiet, silly season.
Yes. Our sleepy season. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Us. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and Christine and I will see you next week. Bye.